Hey there, welcome everybody. Thank you for checking us out. Welcome back to another show of Mad Boxing or Mad Boxing Show. I am your co-host Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapachet. In for another weekend of updates and the ongoings and the inner workings in the sport of boxing. Very slow news week. Some news, of course. There was some boxing on last night. Of course, we're recording this Sunday morning. Last night, I think it was last night, right? Yeah. So some pretty good fights on on DAZN. Not a major card, but they did have yeah. They did have the card here in Las Vegas at the brand new Fountain Blue Hotel Casino. It didn't seem like they did that great at advertising because that arena or that little theater looked empty as fuck. But we'll get to that.
Wow, I didn't know that, Miguel. That was at a casino, huh?
Yeah, it's the new one here coming out, the Fountain Blue, which was barely being constructed. As a matter of fact, we'll get to it shortly, but just a brief one. You know, the homie RIP Lee there. Lee and I went to a Teofimo Lopez fight at the Resort World, and somewhere in the back area where we parked, we could see it. They were barely constructing that the fountain, or I was already constructed. I think they just hadn't opened it. Sorry for the noise. These dudes are on their little motorbikes outside. But anyway, they were barely constructing that Fountain Blue, or it might have already been done. Like, all right, it was supposed to take people away from Resorts World. Didn't turn out that way, and we saw some of the results. Apparently, sometimes it's dead empty, but we'll get to that momentarily. Before we get on to the good news, wow. Andrew, what is happening, dude? How you doing?
Oh, everything's good down here. Got a break in the weather. Finally got some sun again out here, so just trying to enjoy it and basically wait for the end of the world tomorrow.
For the eclipse, right?
Don't even know if I should be going to work. Don't even know.
No, I've seen a bunch of funny memes where like people are like looking directly at it so they don't have to go to work on Tuesday. They're like, it's like a pickup disability. Their eyes are all like bugging out because they're trying to look at the damn thing. But I don't even know, like it's supposed to cross over like Texas and Mexico. Does that mean that we don't get to see that? I mean, we see something, it'll be darker, but we don't get to see the eclipse. Or how the
No, we will. I think we will, but they get a better.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. Don't even hold me that. We might sound stupid. Hey, you know what? We talk boxing.
Yeah, I know. But there would be no boxing if it's the end of the world.
Miguel, my shit says Drew knows boxing, not fucking eclipses, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I do know is the world was supposed to end in 1999 when it clicked to 2000.
Yeah.
Then I heard the world was going to end. I think the Aztec calendar ended like in 14 or something like that. Wasn't there?
2012.
12. Okay, there
December
you go.
December something or other, 2012. Yeah.
I've been through a few of these already.
Right.
So I'm guessing that we will see it. It will pass and everything stays the same. That's what I'm hoping. Right?
And we did survive a pandemic. So if anything is bigger than a pandemic, I have to assume it's some outer worldly shit.
If you start hearing trumpets, get scared.
I see. The old like war friggin' alarms like start going into your bunker.
Well, no, didn't know the 7 trumpets, dude. When they release everything, yeah, it's the Book of Revelations. You probably haven't read that.
I haven't. No.
Yeah. Oh, Miguel, you won't even know. Miguel's gonna be walking around. Trumpets are going.
It's like, is there some sort of parade going on?
Yeah. Is there a fucking bomb happening? What's going on?
Yeah. It's like, we're not in war right now, are we? It's like, oh gosh, yes. That's how little I know about biblical scriptures. But yeah, that's not my experience. I don't know shit about eclipse. I don't know shit about religion. I don't know shit about boxing. Clearly, we're out of our expertise in this particular.
Will you be looking for it?
What
are you gonna come outside and look up? Hey, what happens? Do you go blind if you look up? You go blind or what?
As I understand it, it really fries your fucking eyes. Like it does. Like it's almost like you have a serious flash, right? And I don't know if it goes blind, but when someone takes a picture of you and you see the damn like in the center like this, that just never goes away. As I
gotta tell you, I was always the asshole kid that looked at the guy welding on the side of the road, even though they told you not to.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
You always gotta. I just squinted my eyes, bro. It seemed to work. It seemed to work.
This might be a little different.
Hey,
we're talking about the biggest star in our galaxy.
Just look through that little triangle in your hand. You'll be fine, bro. What are we doing here?
Just get some of those 3D glasses they gave you as a kid. Supposedly that does the trick. Whether or not that's true or not, I'm not going to find out. But when I was a kid, they did give us some damn paper to look through. I mean, not through, but it's like some red or blue paper or something, and that's how you saw it. Because I did that when I was a kid. So we just took our teacher's word for it, pretty much. Like, oh, really? Is this how it works? Okay. I mean, we do it anyway. But whether or not that's the same material you use for like 3D glasses, I don't know. Again, this is not my expertise, but as I understand it, it's almost like when they take a picture of you and they see the flash and you see that dot in the center. Apparently, that does some permanent damage, and that shit never goes away. Pretty much, that's what I understand happens to your eyes. So whether that's blindness or legal blindness, I guess I don't know. But I don't know. I don't have any plans tomorrow. Maybe I mean, I guess I do go run some errands or something. So maybe I'll wear glasses all day and not look up at all. But apparently you have to. I mean, it's not like I look at the sun directly anyway. So yeah, you got to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it says that everyone will see a partial eclipse. I guess that is the best place to see it is that path.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
There you go. That's why. And then you see NASA came out and they're like, hey, we might have got the path wrong. It might be a little bit, might be a few states over, might be in the middle. You know they're fucking with everyone. They don't want everyone to go to one spot probably, bro. They're like, man, we don't have enough people. Can we just say that shit was like 50 miles down the road? NASA came out. Hey, we might have made a mistake, you guys.
Yeah.
But so right now
they're crossing Alaska instead, not the U.S. Sorry.
Could you imagine traveling? That's not right. That's not right. You get it wrong. Tell them 2 days before they get there.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe they had to predict it ahead of time. As time got closer, they're like, oh, it might not reach that. So I mean, I guess that's probably why, right? It's like
yeah. Whatever the case, hopefully everybody that traveled gets to see this thing and nothing happens. That's first off, because yeah, it's really bad. It's all the way from the end of the world to freaking waves, the oceans switching, the North Pole's now the South Pole. That's gonna it's all over the internet. Miguel's like, oh my God, it's a bad thing. Why is everyone so excited?
What websites are you visiting?
Why? Oh, it'll come all over your guys's your guys's feeds now. I just probably polluted everybody's feed that heard this show.
They're always listening.
Yeah, no shit, dude. It's fucking terrible. I'll tell you what happened to me the other day, but not on the show. It has to be off.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, but seriously, hopefully we get past that because what did Ryan say? Hey, is there an earthquake coming? Let's get into Ryan Garcia.
Oh, did his prediction?
His predictions, bro. Did any of them come true? We know he thinks he nailed the Baltimore one.
I think that was fake. I think somebody tweeted fake to tweet that shit. He's what's the dude who Nostradamus.
Yeah.
He's Ryan Namus or something.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. He's just trying to put everything out there that'll get him viral, right? With a clickbait. Ryan's giving us a bunch of clickbait now. He tried to hide his fear of fighting Devin with this new character that he was doing. Oh, he played all of us. Ha ha. I was just doing it to go viral. At the very end, none of his things worked, and it looks like April 20th is a go as of right now. But we'll get into that later. I was just thinking about his predictions.
That's going to be the next thing. He's going to be like, my Christian predictions say that we're going to be dead before April 20th. So it doesn't matter what I do anyway, because I'm not going to. Okay, Ryan. Sure. Whatever you say, homie. Him and his shit. Well, after all, this is a boxing show. So we want to talk about some boxing because, like I said earlier, it was a very, very slow news week for boxing. A couple of things popped up here and there. A couple of Ryan tweets came up here and there. Nothing major, but we didn't want to skip out on a weekend without giving you guys some kind of content. So here we are, Sunday afternoon, or I guess, almost evening at this point, after some fights last night. Figured we get on here and talk to you guys a little bit and see how y'all guys doing. So thank you as always for swinging by. first off, really, I mean, the only major thing was, the DAZN boxing yesterday that had a couple of fights on there that are relatively interesting. The main event was in the 140-pound division. So right now, that's kind of the money weight class. So whenever there's a fight coming up that I see, oh, they're at 140, I'm going to watch. So sure enough, I did watch it. Prior to that, well, I guess I could give you guys, the fighters here. It was a pretty decent card. The co-main event and the main event were the ones that I, of course, took a look at the most. Did you catch any of the card, Andrew?
I just watched the two last fights, Pacheco and then Hitchins.
Yeah, Hitchins. Yeah. So we can start off with the co-main event. Young man, Diego Pacheco taking on Sean McCallman, if I can pronounce it right. I heard Sergio Mora damn near butcher that a few times. McCallman. They're pretty good at describing or saying these last names, pronouncing them. We're not very good at them, but it seemed as though the fight was a lot harder than Pacheco thought, and Pacheco's corner thought. Ultimately, he came out with a victory with a couple of scores that were a little wider than I thought they were going to be. 98-92, 97-93, and 96-94. 96-94 is fine. 97-93 is a little bit off. 98-92 seems like they're really, really reaching. But as you mentioned before several times, as long as the right guy wins, we're pretty much okay with it. And Diego Pacheco did come out with the victory. Again, the fight seemed as though it was a lot harder for Pacheco than he probably anticipated. There were a couple of times when there was some pretty bad headbutts. It looked like because, Pacheco is usually the taller guy, any sort of headbutts ends up catching him like in the chin / cheek area. And that seemed to have happened a few times against McCallman last night. So it was a pretty solid fight. But what'd you see, Andrew?
Like our guy used to say, a workman-like fight.
Performance, right?
It was a workman-like night.
Okay. All night.
Both the right guys won. Both of them didn't move the needle at all. For Pacheco, he's got time on his side because he's only 23. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he really deserves the spots that DAZN gives him sometimes. I don't know. I don't see his performances. He kind of reminds me of Munguia, bro. He's going to be another Munguia, as someone they're just kind of stringing along until they can get a good payday out of him. He can change that because he's still in the bottom tier fighting the up and comers. So he needs to I don't know, get a little bit more exciting. Throw more punches. Do something that's gonna make people talk about you the next day. But last night's performance was workmanlike, almost could put you to sleep kind of deal, because it was just both of them going back and forth. You kind of knew who was winning the rounds. There was no thrill, no drama in the fight. So he needs to change that. And DAZN, it's either they need to pick up his opposition, because I swear this kid's been on many fight cards yet. McCallman, Gallegos, Coolin, Luna. Who are these people? These are all nobodies.
Sure.
Yet I keep seeing them on DAZN's undercard, co-main event, undercard, whatever. So he's only 23. I don't know what it is. They're just trying to push this kid, but I don't know how to call it until they either step up his opposition or don't put him on TV against these guys. I mean, seriously, last night they described his opponent as an athlete. There's nothing else. There's nothing else.
Yeah,
what are we supposed to say? What are we supposed to come on? Yeah, what are we supposed to come on here and be like, dude, this guy's the future? So, no, it was a very workmanlike night last night. Both fights were not that exciting, in my opinion, at all. Now, for, how do you say it? Hutchins? Or Hitchins? Hitchins. His is going to cost him more because he was going for a title shot, right? So, but yeah, I didn't think this fight was that close. The Pacheco one. I really didn't. And maybe, hey, sometimes I'm, how do you say, I'm scarred. I score for the guy that I know the promoter scoring for, right?
Yeah.
So all those close rounds, I usually go, yeah, it was a close round, but there's no way that Pacheco is not going to get that round. The guy didn't do that much. You know, if they don't want you to win, 1 or 2 punches isn't getting it there.
Sure.
Now in the main event, we'll talk about a different story. But no, I thought Pacheco won the fight. I don't know what they see in the kid. So I'm still waiting to see what's special about him, why DAZN keeps putting him so high up there. So,
I mean, you said earlier that you think they should up the competition. I mean, are you sure about that? Because I mean, yesterday, I mean, granted,
he's wasting my Saturday nights. How about that? Come on, bro. I get to watch him versus McCollum, whatever that dude's name is, and this isn't Pacheco's first time there.
Right.
This is at least his third time there.
But we saw, like, I guess in your, because I mean, at least maybe the commentators were like maybe contaminating my brain somehow, but it seemed like it was closer than you know the scorecards. Well, at least one of the scorecards had it. But you think like it was a much wider like victory, like it was, you know, he fucking pitched a no hitter.
No, I wouldn't say no hitter, but there was definitely, I didn't think that, you know, when the fight ended, I wasn't like, ooh, I wonder who won this. Not at all. I would have been more shocked if it would have come back with the draw or the other guy winning. Been like, what the? Now they just ruined Pacheco's career, and this fight was boring as fuck.
But you think upping the competition would? I mean, because we saw how he performed, so it's like if this is how he performs against this kind of competition. You know, I mean, obviously.
Well, then drop him back. Yeah. Then drop him back. But please don't waste my Saturday nights with these kind of cards. I won't be there next time. If it's Pacheco versus fuckface, I'm not there. Pacheco either needs to step up to competition. I'm telling you, he's becoming a Jaime Munguia for DAZN. You know, one of those wasted Saturday nights.
Another Munguia, pretty much.
Yeah. Yes. So, and I was a Munguia fan in the beginning, but then it was like, come on, man. How many of these fights do we have to watch? So no, that's all I'm saying. And I know he's young. He's only 23, so I'm telling him, either get more exciting, pick up the competition, or, you know, please stop wasting my Saturday night.
You got more important things to do on the Saturday night. Yeah,
that's right now where his name is going to be on my list.
Yeah. When next time you see him, you're like, I mean, maybe you look at his opponent and be like, okay, well, let me see.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I mean, he is only 23, but the obvious move is to progress him, right? I mean, to have him keep going. But I mean, with performances like that, you know, he did what he needed to do. You know, it isn't like it's like you said at the end of the fight. It wasn't like we didn't know who the hell was going to win. We knew he was going to win, and this is natural for most fighters at the certain stage where they start to up the competition to the point where they're not going to knock everybody out. And he just ran into this dude. You know, maybe I don't know a slight step back and put him on like the card opener and not the fucking co-main event. But yeah, for them to put him as a co-main event. Especially after last night's performance. Let's hope they knock him back a couple of spots. But he got himself the victory at the end of the day, whatever the hell that means. How exactly that progresses him, another somebody on his record, I suppose. But there were a couple of things. And he did make a couple of adjustments towards like the second half of the fight. But it looked for a couple of minutes where he was, a couple of rounds where it just looked like he was just going through the motions for the most part. We're like, okay, he knows he's got the round. You know, he knows how some of these judges are going to score it for him because he's the name, quote unquote. So it just seemed like he was just kind of going with the motions for a little bit. And he got himself the victory. He did what he needed to do, but it was pretty unimpressive, quite frankly.
It really was. And maybe that's why, is because he's getting a little too comfortable with the tomato cans they've been giving him. And really, this is all about him being on TV. If he was 21-0 and fighting on the off TV cards and fighting in little arenas in Mexico trying to make it, well, then it's fine. He's 23, he's 21-0, that's fine. But I've seen him on DAZN a few times, and I'm like, all right, who is this kid? Last night, I'm freaking nodding out. You know, I got nothing for this fight. The fight's, to me, boring. he's a super middleweight. He looks like he's ready for nobody. Who's he ready for? Yeah. Nobody. So what are we doing? I can see if he was an Olympian, then you have a story on him. Give us a story. Build something around him. Just stop prompting him up there again with these nobodies. Then have a boring, lackluster fight. That we never get these exciting knockouts. I've never seen him on Knockout of the Year candidate or anything. Fight of the Year candidate. Nothing. I'm telling you, Eddie, I'm passing next time on this one of these fight cards, man. I really am.
Don't worry, leave that to me. I'll watch the fights. Even I got nothing else to do on Saturday night, so I'll catch the cards. But that does lead us. There's something else I want to touch on during that fight that I'm going to wait until after we're talking about the main event. But in the main event, of course, we had Richardson Hitchins, who defeated his opponent Gustavo. I don't know if it's Lemos or Lemos, but they had it said a couple of times. Argentinian. Kind of a similar fight, huh? But that one was definitely a lot closer. That's for damn sure. That one, they had a lot of. At least Sergio Mora was talking about, and as a matter of fact, I think Todd Grisham was talking about how this fight reminded them of XYZ, and they were throwing a couple of examples. One of which being Castaño, who surprises when with his that first fight with Charlo, stuff like that, where they just kind of come out of nowhere. And Lemos was that Argentine fighter who was just not gonna fucking back down. Again, another one of these fights that Hitchins, probably thought it was going to be like a lot easier than it ended up being. And it's one of those cases where maybe perhaps cherry picking didn't exactly go your way. And he was shocked. He was surprised. He had Yoel Judah in his corner. And I don't think he was his main trainer because he was outside of the ring. But going into every round or going into his corner every round, they were both talking to him at the same time. Like they're just filling the fucker's head with so many goddamn instructions, and it's just it always looked like it was information overload. But he ended up coming away with the victory. Regardless, he ended up getting the nod. I didn't remember even seeing the scores. Let me see if I can pull up the scores here. But he ended up going in with the victory. I guess that ultimately gets him a shot at the IBF super lightweight title at 140 pounds, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is vacant and will be contested between Lomachenko and Kambosos in the near future. I forget what day. I think it's May that there's.
I thought they're at 135, bro.
They're at 135. Okay, yeah, you're right. Holy shit! So then who's
that must he starts the
M.
Oh
shit. Fuck yeah. I'm thinking about 135 then. Holy fucking fuck. Well, that's a lot more fucking dangerous.
No, you're talking about that. Remember that kid we were supposed to bring up?
Yeah. Wait, but is that him? He's got that IBF belt?
He's got the IBF. Look him up. IBF. Look up the IBF for 140. I can't pronounce his name off the top.
Well, we know Matthias is what that's his last name. But we're pretty bad at that, at names in general. All right, bam. Yeah, you're totally right, dude. IBF junior welterweight, fucking hell. So
yeah,
that Jesus, that's a nightmare for this dude. It's supposed to get him a shot at that belt, which is even worse. Worse than my previous thoughts, because I was thinking 135, but no, it's not fucking. No, you're totally right. It's 140. So now he gets in line to face somebody like Matthias. Yeah, Subriel. Wow. Well, I guess before we get to that, what did you see? What did you think about that fight?
He shouldn't be fighting for the title. Look, I I love my Americans.
Sure.
Going for my guys all the time. I had him down, bro, 4-1 going into round 6, dude. I have this fight not close in the beginning. He's just getting outworked. He's getting hit on the ropes. He's landing 1-3, in my opinion. The Argentinian was coming like they all do, just heavy-handed power shots that are landing. They look like they're landing the more effective punches. Dude, it's like he comes back in the middle rounds. But then I don't give him the 12th round. I give that. Oh. And that's always a real
close strong. You got to close strong.
For me. Is when you lose that 12th round, man. So this fight is at best a draw, but seriously, me and Junior both looked at each other and were like, the Argentinian, I think, won this. And I was like, I got up and I was like, yeah, I think he won. I walk into the kitchen, start the first scorecard. I'm like, oh fuck, what is this? What is this? Right?
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
when
see
I
if I
heard
can find
it's like
two.
116, 111 or some
Well,
shit.
they had a 115, 113 card, which I guess it's that's very close, obviously. The other one had it 117, 111.
There you go. All right. When I heard the two other cards are 115, 113, I thought maybe they were gonna do the right thing and just give it
Mhm.
to the other guy in a very close fight and bring it back. Nah, man. Then when they gave it to that guy with that kind of scorecard, it's he got by. Look, he would be smart to run this fight back. Now, maybe you can go fight for the belt if you want. But if I was him to make his career right, that's one thing that I loved about Floyd. Floyd and his when he was growing, his two fights, the one with Castillo, he
Mm.
rematches immediately. I think it's like 4 months, dude. They were back
Oh,
in the
jeez.
ring doing it again. Yeah, it's something really short. That's how you're supposed to take care of that. You know what I mean? When you're a young guy, you might have gotten gifted a fight. Don't just move on, act like the shit didn't happen. So I hope that he comes back because that other dude fought his ass off, man. Man, did he walk through fire for those 12 rounds and the way he fought in the 12th round for them to take that. He was undefeated too. And we all have seen it with these Argentinian guys. They don't have a fan base. They're like Cubans, man. They lose on the scorecards all the time like this. Um, so, he just got outworked. I don't know. He's got to go look at the tape, go
Sure.
readjust
Mm.
himself because he did good. He was the more skilled fighter, and he did come back in the middle rounds. I just thought he lost it in the end, especially in the 12th round. If anyone had a draw going into that final round, or that final round was to decide the fight, well, fuck, man, he didn't win it on my half. You know,
Yeah.
so close fight. Um, I don't know what to do with the kid because he didn't really have a great coming out show last night. You know what I mean? You could say
Mm.
he's in position for a title, but it's a razor, and they put a unanimous decision. Such bullshit. It was a razor thin victory, right? Where wasn't the crowd booing? Could have swore they were even booing
There were a
the
couple of times it was
they're
mild, but I mean it was like maybe I heard bits and pieces of it, the camera caught the booing, but it didn't seem like it was like, I mean, we could talk about it here in a second, but it didn't sound too loud, probably because there weren't a lot of people there, because it was like
yeah.
not a lot of people there. I mean,
It was
I
all
saw
his
the
corner.
yeah, it
It
was
was his
probably
corner.
like it was his family and his fucking people that gave free tickets to that he comp tickets for. They're like, okay, here's some media passes. Go ahead and sit in next row. One of the scores was 117, 111, which to put it in perspective is 9 rounds to 3. For fuck's sake, like they really legitimately thought that Lemos only got 3 rounds out of that whole card. So yeah, that was pretty whack. But I definitely don't think he's ready for a title shot, especially with with you correcting me. It's fucking, Matias. That dude, that's just fucking, that dude's a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude can come forward, he can take shots, and he's like, he's a monster basically at 140. He's the, I don't know what you would call him, the triple G, I guess, of 140s, because like people are gonna try to fucking avoid him. But Hitchins got himself a title shot, which I don't know if he's gonna actually proceed. And to your point earlier about Floyd doing that, where he would like get close, have a close fight, and then immediately rematch it to correct it. There was no belt at stake here. Like I don't think he would be the kind of person, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Hitchens is like, yeah, let's run it back. Well, like right now, he just won. He gets a crack at
Yeah,
the
I
belt.
hear you.
If it
I
was
hear you.
for a belt at stake, I would say like he probably should do that. But at this point, he eked out a decision. He's like, whew, that was close. I ain't fucking fighting that motherfucker again. Move forward to a title shot or something. So
And
yeah,
really,
I think
the Lemos fight versus Matisse would probably be better for the sport. That'd be a barn burner,
that
man.
would be right.
Yeah,
No kidding, huh? Shit, that how we damn. It's. I hope this doesn't go down as one of the what could have been, because
yeah.
I the unfortunate I guess, fate of people who end up losing, fighters who are going well and they end up losing, is that they kind of fall to the back of the line. How many more fights are he's gonna have to go through before he gets another crack at that? I mean, he was the opponent on a main event on a DAZN card. When the hell will he do that again? And it sucks. I hope for the sake of him that DAZN takes or Matchroom or what the fuck was, I think it was Matchroom, notices that and says like, okay, maybe we should give him another crack. Maybe not against Hitchins or somebody else for that matter. Someone else just maybe on the card to still get him there, to still have eyes on him, because with this, it's going to be an auto volleying thing. It's going to go into fucking obscurity. No one's going to fucking hear from him again. And it sucks because, like you said, we probably would have had a much more entertaining fight, at least with Matias and fucking Lemos. That sucks. That really sucks, and I feel for him. That kind of sucks. Hopefully, kind of like with Raleigh and Barroso. Barroso got another crack. Hopefully, they'll do something like that for Lemos, because that scorecard was fucking crap, dude. It was bad. But on the subject of the booze, yeah, so there wasn't a lot of people there. I don't know if every so often the camera would like pan out and they'll be able to see the crowd. It's a theater, if I'm not mistaken. I could have sworn I saw like a stage, and they do that pretty regularly. They do it at I think I want to say the Hard Rock. I think they do it right. So as a matter of fact, the Pearl here in Las Vegas at the Palms Casino, that was a theater, and they had fights there. And basically, if I remember correctly, the few times that I went, one time I was as a media member, they put media on the stage, so we were like behind the cage. So that was kind of cool, that it's a nice little visual. And every so often the camera would pan out and they can see the stage over there, and then like the seats are kind of empty. Like, I was like, oh shit, like it looks bad, because sometimes there's trickery involved, right? They get everybody to sit on that side of the hard camera, where like the main camera is like watching the fight, right? And so it looks like it's full, and then other camera angles catches the other side, and it's like completely fucking empty. A few times they panned out entirely, and there was nobody in the seats. So
yeah,
if there was some booing,
isn't that the place? Isn't that they fired their CEO like after only like 1 month of the doors being opened or some shit?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they had like, dude, like the thing was a disaster from the very beginning. Instead of giving comps to like the heavy gamblers out in Vegas, they did something where they are hiring all these musicians to come have a party, and then they were gonna try to sell tickets to have guys come and see if they want. No one showed up to that shit. And he was like, it was just like, why didn't you guys just give out fucking money to the heavy hitters of the gambling world, right?
Yeah.
Here's 10 grand. Come play for the night, right? And the dude will probably lose 100 grand. You know what I mean? Like, it's yeah, and I think they got rid of one of their top bosses pretty fast in that joint. And yeah, it looks like the boxing event might not have done too good last night either. I didn't even know that was a casino it was in. That's crazy, bro. It's not. The cameraman wasn't picking the greatest of shots. You know what I'm saying? He was. Yeah, that's really weird. That's really
and
weird.
I'm talking about like the main event, like the main card, because I've been to some fights where the seats don't start filling in until like middle of the card, and then by the time the main event comes up, everybody's in the fucking thing, So I'm like, all right, maybe that's what sometimes it happens. This is a small theater. No, I'm talking about during the main event, the damn seats were already empty. And I follow this one dude, and I can't remember his name right now on Instagram, but he always posts things that have to do with Vegas. He's here in Vegas, and every so often he'll go to some of these casinos. And I remember him, specifically going into that Fontainebleau casino, and it was like damn near no one inside the casino itself. This was, I want to say, like last month, I think it was. So it doesn't surprise me that that's the case, because I mean, I legit forgot that fight was even fucking here. You know what I'm saying? Because from the time that the pandemic hit, the UFC started to put events at their headquarters here, and they called it the UFC Apex, which is like a performance center, they call it. And they had an area which was training basically, but because of that, of the pandemic, they basically started using that as a little mini arena, because we wouldn't have a public crowd. So ever since then, they continued to use that. So whenever there's smaller cards, they'll have them at that UFC Apex here, and it's just a small little. It looks like basically a gym, honestly, but there's a cage. There's a few people there, but like I don't know I don't even know, maybe a couple hundred people, maybe if that. Anyway, it's relatively small, right? So my point being is that I didn't even know that this damn card was here. Like I legit didn't even realize that it was at this Fountain Blue spot. And if you guys remember, you might want to check it out. The Resorts World did something at that time, some time ago, where Teofimo Lopez fought, and they did like a tent. It was pretty sweet. They had a tent outside, and it was pretty. It wasn't a huge venue by any stretch, but it was one of those things where they had this really nice tent going, and it was nice and AC'd and everything. And it was when he fought Campa, but it was nice, and there was a lot of people there. Like Teofimo, I don't know what his fan base is here in Las Vegas, but there was a lot amount of people. It was pretty solid. More than they had at the Fountain Blue. I don't know. It seemed a little like when I realized how few people were there, I was like, oh shit, that's it. Like they did not even get close to filling out that stadium. But I mean that little stage / theater arena kind of sucks for DAZN. You know what I'm saying? Like again, I don't even remember them announcing that it was going to be there. I was like, oh, I guess.
DAZN's never really had a way here in America. They just never found their way. I don't remember that too many fights being successful for them here. Just obscure places, not the right opponents,
And yesterday was Matchroom, right? Like that seems to be a reoccurring thing with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn.
It's Eddie Hearn, man. It's Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. He just almost like I don't know who. I don't know.
He needed Oscar. He needed Oscar. Instead, he went for Oscar's money. He wanted to go ahead. Oscar's still working with them, but I think they had a better relationship before he started sleeping with his ex. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to make a friendship go south, bro. Is when you start banging the ex.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. She's great for me. Well, fuck you too, eh? How about that?
It's like, you guys were already broken up, bro. You already broken up. It's like,
start telling him all the dirty things she did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, us already being broken up doesn't mean grounds for you to fucking move in. But that's not how it works. It's like you guys already stopped dating. What am I supposed to do? It's like, nah, fucking date her. How about some loyalty, motherfucker? How about that? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Eddie, if you're hearing.
So yeah, I really think he lost a valuable asset to DAZN when he lost the Golden Boy roster, really for his little site, his gap fillers, I guess you could say, his undercards. Oscar probably had a bunch of fighters he could throw him to help him out when he's doing these cards, but the situation they have right now kind of is like a love-hate. I'll scratch your back when mine itches, basically. Right?
Yeah, because I've seen a couple of like face-to-face things where they kind of they do this thing where like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, they're kind of not cool, but when it comes to like PBC and LM, they're like, oh yeah, we're cool now. We're gonna go fight. So there's been a couple of times where they've had those face-to-face things on DAZN, and they talk about working together to do this and this, and then great, fantastic, good for us. But like under the table, they're just like, that's what I think of you, motherfucker. Like, taking my fighter. So yeah,
holding the gun, basically.
Yeah.
Under the table, they're still holding the gun pointed towards each other. Yes, sir.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Yeah.
That scene with Johnny Depp where he's got like that fake hand on the table, but his real hand is that's what they're doing. It's just like we know you got a gun at the table because I got one too, so don't pretend. But yeah, I was pretty like shocked. Like even right now, because I like to have it playing on in the background while I'm talking. I can see how empty the seats are on that fucking little stage, and I was like, damn. I mean that theater, like, oh, I mean, I don't know what they did on that, but
hey,
that's a nice little segment.
How about we kick boxing while they're down?
Yes. You read my mind. That's the segue I was just about to get to.
Empty seats and no buys. How about this, Miguel? What is the rumor on the biggest platform boxing's ever seen?
Yes, we'll gently what's the word? Segue over to our next topic. I guess flop that was the PBC pay-per-view on Amazon Prime Video, whatever the hell you want to call it, but on Amazon you can call it just for short Amazon Prime. Yeah, so we've heard a lot of numbers. We wanted to give it some time, because usually the following Tuesday we get some numbers. It's already, over a week at this point, so we want to just kind of sit back. We know how PBC works when they pull out their Steven Espinoza calculator, and when those numbers aren't what they like, they stay quiet. And this seems to be one of those times where PBC isn't saying jack shit about their pay-per-view buys. But the word is, I heard from two different sources. Number one, Eddie Hearn himself saying his understanding is that it did 20,000 pay-per-view buys.
Wow.
I've heard also other tweets. I've read other tweets online saying that it was possibly 50,000. I should say it was less than 50,000, which technically 20,000 is less than 50,000. So maybe it is 20,000. Fuck if I know. But how far or how close to 50,000 it is, we don't know, of course. But as is the usual, when the numbers are abysmal, they don't report them for sure, or they don't announce them. That's why I have yet to see it. As a matter of fact, we had to go looking for it. So anytime, this is one of the things I love about this damn show that we do, is that when we like to bring up topics that no one fucking says shit about, and that one being one of them. I didn't see any headlines. I didn't see any videos or anybody saying, wow, did you see, have we heard about the pay-per-view buys? I haven't seen a lot of media people say that. I haven't seen a lot of content creators talking about that, but we're going to talk about it. Holy hell. Somewhere, we know that the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? So we hear it's 20,000. We hear it's definitely less than 50,000. We're going to be nice and say 35? What do you think, Andrew?
First off, both are pretty solid numbers. Your sources you're getting those from too.
Right? Yes.
It's not a good look right now for the first PBC show on the Prime. It's not going to be a good look for Raleigh when De La Hoya and Bernard find out how much this thing made. You know that their guaranteed purse might be more than what they made on this fight. Look, people, at 20,000 buys times 70, we were looking at a little over 1.4 million, I believe we said. Under 50,000, we were looking at 2.4, 2.5, something like that.
Yeah.
That's not with taxes being taken out. That's not with Prime Amazon taking their, 40%? What the fuck you think those guys are taking out of that pot? Raleigh's not even the main event. He literally lost money losing his title. Like, does he know how bad he got hustled, Miguel?
I don't think it's sunken in quite
yet. I know, bro. I totally agree with you. I really don't either. That's a sad fucking day for him when he gets that phone call about what. And I feel sorry for Cruz. Cruz fights his ass off. Look at Tszyu, man. Hopefully Tszyu gets his money because he is the star of that show.
Yeah.
Hopefully Amazon or Al Heyman does right and gets him his 500, 400. Dude, bro, these numbers are terrible, Miguel. You're talking about hundreds of thousands left to do a whole fight card with. At some point, go ahead.
I was just gonna read. I was looking while you were talking. I was looking for this particular tweet from Rick Glazer, which we know guys in the know.
Big time source,
Big time source. He says, I'm gonna read it, verbatim. Many asking about the Fundora Tszyu pay-per-view numbers. It seems as if Amazon and PBC are hiding the numbers, which in reality, it's so low that it's an embarrassment. Says my sources, his sources, speaking for him, says let's see, my source that I got that he has gotten pay-per-view numbers from since July of 2004. This is the source that he's talking about. He has gotten numbers from him since July of 2004. Says that let's see here, it probably set an all-time low.
Wow.
All right. Now, who's buying this? Who the fuck knows? But he says, I believe it completely tanked on pay-per-view, like way under. He said way under 50,000 pay-per-view buys. He's like, artistically, it was a good show, but financially, it was obviously a disaster. So that's what he said. He said way low than 50,000, or way lower than 50,000, which sounds pretty close to what Eddie Hearn was saying that close to 20,000. Holy hell! Holy
This
hell! Now here's the
is
thing. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go
Well, I was
ahead.
gonna say, with these fighters, with Tszyu and Fundora, we it wasn't we initially we thought there was going to be no guarantee, right? That's kind of what Oscar and Bernard were saying, but I mean they certainly had to have some guarantee for them to get Tszyu and Fundora. I'm saying, like, I don't know how much it was. Of course, I'm sure they had to have something, but I think they were they were banking a lot more on the success of the pay-per-view for their paychecks to be substantially higher. Well, we see the case that's not the case now, but that's oh man, that's rough. I don't know how would we who what other fight we can possibly compare that to that flopped as bad as that one. I mean, could it have been maybe, I don't know, Trinidad and Roy Jones or some shit? That's like, I'm trying to think of these fights that were like, Roy Jones and Bernard
Roy
and
Jones and Bernard, yeah, Bernard too.
right. I don't.
That was a bad one, bro. They didn't even pay Roy Jones in that fight. He didn't make a dime.
Good
He
Lord.
also took a no guarantee, my money will come off of the pay-per-view kind of contract,
Mm.
and Bernard took like a guarantee of 5 million. It was something, don't hold me, that had 3 million, and that's all the fight like made. So all the money basically went to Bernard, and they're like, sorry, sorry, Roy, there ain't shit left in this pot. I don't know what he walked away with, but it was bad. That fight was bad. I remember being in an arena. It was only, and it's only one arena, but it was only us. There's only 11 people in that fucking place. The whole thing was empty, bro. The whole
Yeah.
thing was empty. I don't know why they put that in the movie theaters. Like, they're acting like it was Hagler Hearns fucking gonna happen all over, or who, Leonard Hearns, I guess they're saying, because they fought
Mm.
kind of older. But yeah, that was a disaster. This is a disaster. I can't wait until I hear, I seen Isaac Cruz eating after the fight. He was with his family. They were all eating out. So you do hope that they made a few $100,000, off of some other TV deal where
Well,
PBC.
the arena was pretty full. The arena was full, so maybe, I mean,
Okay.
it seemed as though, like, granted, it's not like, a packed full a sold out house, but if a few times they panned out and you can see that there were butts and seats, and I think that was T-Mobile, right? Yeah, T-Mobile. So T-Mobile holds more people. Like, it just to kind of give you an idea, the MGM Grand for a boxing or wrestling event does about, I think, 15,000 people. The Mandalay Bay, their Michelob Ultra Arena, what do they call it now? Does about 17. As I understand it, T-Mobile does about 20,000 people, and I've been to a UFC card there. I've been to Daniel Jacobs and Canelo. So, and then, as a matter of fact, Triple G and Canelo. It's big. You can fucking fit a lot of people in there. So I'm sure those top seats probably weren't full, but it seemed as though they had a lot of people for that particular fight. So hopefully there's where a lot of the chunk of the change is going to come from. I hope.
Those numbers are going to be released too. Those numbers they won't be able to hide. The live gate, you might even be able to look that up right now. The zoo, that might have been released on Fight Week. What the live gate was at that point. Vegas usually does that for their matches. Will put the live gate in the purses, what the fighters are making out on the. I forgot all about that fight was at the T-Mobile, because then it will at least show us if they had some guarantee. Maybe it says guarantee of 300,000. You know what I mean, on their fight purses, something like that. But no, overall, if I'm moving forward with Al Heyman, I'm pretty nervous right now. If this is what we're supposed to expect, because nobody has saved that company yet. Spence has been on pay-per-view with the biggest name in boxing. They did shit on pay-per-views.
They did really bad, yeah.
Charlo was on the pay-per-view with the biggest name in boxing, Canelo, and they didn't do good on pay-per-view. So here we have, the PBC's had two of the best names in their sport. Their audience isn't buying in. They then try to come to the PBC brings this to the Amazon platform. No one's still buying in. Who's the audience? Who are they going after right now? You really telling me Tank has that much of an appeal that these other guys aren't hitting on? I don't believe it. I think that Tank Ryan thing was a one day special. My daughter, remember I told you my daughter was watching that in college. I don't think she's watching Tank versus Frank Martin the next time around at Sacramento State, bro. Yeah, I finally got his name. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be watching that one. So his numbers are going to drop on at least some, because I already got people that I know aren't coming back. They're not revisiting his pay-per-view. Now the PBC has this is going to be scary for the sport, because now hopefully it works in our behalf where they can start leaving Al Heyman. Maybe just say, hey, look, you're better just a manager. Our ride is done, right? To me, you ask me, it seems like the PBC money train is done. They're done. It's time to now go out and look for companies that are really trying to invest, not just drain. And that's what the PBC has been doing to their guys for a very long time, is they had a big fucking pot of money and they were just taking from it. No Diddy. I was gonna say, take that. No. Fucking guy. That fucking guy. He's about to be in prison with R. Kelly, but
I know I got a conspiracy theory about him, but we can talk about that in a second.
Jeez. So yeah, no, it looks like Al's time as a promoter, it might be coming to an end. I don't, he's got this Munguia fight. Canelo Munguia is not even his fight. It's literally, these guys aren't his. He did nothing to build this fucking thing. It's so stupid that Canelo's making them do this. And really, I think everyone was forced into it because they can't afford him. I don't think DAZN could afford Canelo on their own, and I don't think the PBC can. So they probably just came to an agreement on their own, like, hey, let's try to put it on both of our platforms and see if we can generate some money with this kid. If I'm Eddie Hearn and I'm looking at what Canelo did on his platform the first time, then I'm looking at what they just did over the weekend. If these numbers are real, I'm real nervous right now that Al Heyman ain't going to bring a fucking dime when it's time to pay Saul Alvarez. Hopefully he doesn't get any guaranteed money out of putting that all together, getting Eddie Hearn on the PBC platform.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, the only person I just off the top of my head that would be able or even willing to do anything, they've kind of sort of already burned the bridge. It's over there in Saudi Arabia, like over there with the prince. But we've heard what Tank, who is maybe, besides Canelo, arguably the next biggest star that PBC has. If we can say that, we'll see where he's at when he comes back against Martin. But it's like he's already said, send me 2 Ferraris, right? And the prince was like, how about sending you 2 gloves? How about that? Yeah. So already burning the bridge to probably the only place that's giving out money damn near for free. Not giving 2 rats ass about the pay-per-view buys here in the U.S. Saudi Arabia and the prince is His Excellency. But the one spot that can probably bail them out of this, they're already burning bridges with. So
and Canelo did too. And Canelo did too. The whole give me 150 or 200 million. He said no to that too. So it's not a good place. I think we've been saying that since this show started, where boxing is right now. We got the Olympics coming up. Hopefully that'll give us a star. We need a star to come out of this Olympics, something that grabs the attention of the American people again. But no, and you got Terrance Crawford, who had like the best performance of his life. He can't get a fight. Where's Terrance Crawford at? Yeah. Why is Spence in the ring and Terrance Crawford's not in the ring? Can anyone answer that?
Well, to answer that question for you to some degree, we might see both of them in the ring, because that's kind of the direction things are looking at. What that transpired after that Fundora and Tszyu fight is that it looks like Fundora probably is going to be stripped of his WBO title. But there's been some suspensions, of course, right? The broken nose for him, the gash for Tszyu. It looks like that's the direction. I don't know if it's been official yet, but it kind of looks like WBO is just gonna, strip him of the belt. So, of course, Spence got into the ring, right, and said he was the big dog or the big shark or the big horse or whatever the fuck animal he decided to use that one time. And he wanted. It was obvious that he wanted that fight with Fundora, who ultimately came out the winner of that fight. And Crawford has tweeted, "Hey, dude, you lost, bro, and to me. So back to the line you go. If Tszyu is out, Fundora's out, the WBO belt is vacant. Are we gonna get a Spence and Crawford rematch at 154?" Because, mind you, that was one of the things that Spence wanted. He wanted the rematch at 154, and I don't think that Crawford necessarily wanted that. He was like, I don't give a fuck. If I'm going to go 154, I'm going to go after some other dudes with belts and stuff like that, which is what it looked like he was trying to do by pulling that, mandatory challenger for the winner of Fundora and Tszyu. Well, they're fighting. There's going to be this bottlenecking that's going on now at 154 for that WBO belt. It looks like that's the direction we're going. Again, we're just speculating here because it was happened before. We've seen, we've been around the sport long enough that we can see some of these things coming. This is sort of seems as though the direction that's going to go. Chances are we might get a Spence and Crawford rematch at 154 for the vacant WBO belt. Damn. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think it's really, really possible that's going to happen, or are we going to see Crawford, I don't know, fuck Jeff Horn or some shit, I don't know, 154?
You could end up seeing them fight for the WBO. You might see Fundora get stripped by more than just one title. If he gets stripped by 2 titles, look for both of them to take vacant shots, get a title under each of them, bring them together after, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of avenues with the way that it ended. So, I don't like any of this, first off. I don't like how we pushed Tszyu off like he didn't lose that fight by accident. That was an accidental fucking elbow, right? Elbow that split open his head. And no one saves him. His corner, the doctor, the commission, everyone just lets this thing ride. And then we're kind of not blaming him, but penalizing him. Like, hey, sorry, dude. Sorry, you lost the fight. It's just so dirty. Like, why isn't anyone screaming rematch? Why ain't the belts going, you know what? No, we're going to freeze this. No one's stripping anything. You guys need to go back and see each other after you're both cleared. But I say that, and then I got Tim not really fucking out here arguing for himself.
That pissed me off the most because I would have thought, honestly, that immediately after, during the post-fight press conference or even the interviews inside of the ring, I was 100% sure that he's going to be like, let's run it back. And Fundora is a stand-up kind of dude, I mean, like, no pun intended because he's tall, but it's like he's a stand-up kind of guy. Like, I would have expected at least Fundora to have been like, yeah, dude, let's run it back. This shit turned out the way, let's run it back. My nose is fucked up. Your cut is bad. And of course, it was an accidental cut, or elbow. So let's run it back. Cool. And I would have thought the first person yelling for that shit would be Tszyu. But even when he was, number one, he wasn't even saying that, right? He wasn't yelling at the hilltop about that. And even when he was asked about it, he was unsure about it. Like, the way he answered, it was just like, oh, we'll see, yada, yada. And then somehow brought in Terrance Crawford into the conversation. It's like, what? How are you not, like, blue in the face from talking about the rematch or, demanding a rematch at this point? Yes, I get it. You guys are going to be suspended for a while, both of y'all. But if the belts, I'm trying to think of the word, but if the belts, the sanctioning bodies, if they really wanted, if they wanted to keep the belt, on fucking Fundora until then, they would do it. They would totally fucking do it. I don't know what the hell the shit is. We know that Crawford was the WBO champ at 147. He held on to that belt for a long time, and now he's considered the super champion. So he pulled that card to be the mandatory at 154 by moving up. I think the WBO knows that Crawford is the bigger star. So it's like, you know what? Fuck Fundora, fuck Tszyu. We're just going to put the strap on Crawford and call it a day. We have ourselves another major star holding our belt. That's what it seems as though. They want to put the belt back on Crawford. That's what I'm thinking.
So I was trying to look up all right. So what I heard, remember when we were talking about his TV contract with the PBC?
Crawford?
Tszyu.
Oh, Tszyu. Okay.
How I thought maybe that was up,
Mhm.
and that's why this whole fucking, wasn't really looking out for his safety thing happened last Saturday. Because I just don't understand how that fight went 10 rounds with the way that it was cut.
12.
The blood. 10, but it happened in the second
Oh,
round.
gotcha. I see
So
what you're
10
saying.
rounds.
Yeah.
So there not a rumor, but there was an article that came out that Tszyu is about to be the highest paid Australian
Oh,
fighter. Did you see that?
I did. Yes.
The 35 million
hmm
contract.
Yeah.
So
I saw it happen after the fight too, because it's like
yeah.
he may have been bleeding his fucking guts out, but he's going to be paid handsomely for it. It's like, oh shit, okay.
So was that why he's not complaining? Because his obligation to fulfill that contract might not have been in the plans of the PBC. So Al was like, look, if you go with these guys, that kind of breaks whatever deal, whatever future we have, because I'm not trying to put on Australian boxing, or I'm not trying to have my guys have to go out there to go see you or whatnot. It's just weird that he was looking at another TV deal. Yes, he was. Yes, that's out there. You know what I mean? Like, and now he doesn't care. He lost the titles. We're a week after. I still haven't seen him go, hey, I want my fucking rematch or nothing. Haven't fired anyone.
Anything from anybody for that matter, right? Like,
haven't.
Tszyu's been pretty quiet. Even Fundora and his corner have been pretty quiet. So I don't know what the hell, but that is kind of iffy. Because
you seen what his manager said? Fundora's manager. We go over this all the time
about being okay with a rematch or what?
Yeah, he goes, no, I'm not doing it. He goes, no rematch. Right now, I gotta land the biggest fight for my guy. It's like, what
the Samson dude? The
Samson, yes, yes. And I'm like, what the fuck? It shouldn't be up to them. What do you mean? I'm supposed to land? You guys aren't even the champion today for a fucking elbow. Like, stop acting like your dude went in there and gave him the business. It's just so cringy how he won this title, and we're all supposed to just be like, yeah, moving on. But then I don't like how Tszyu isn't arguing. And so then when I see the article about him being the highest paid Australian athlete of all time, come on now. Maybe that's a bigger drive than those fucking titles and your platform that just only did a 1.4 million. Seriously, on 20 grand, they only made 1.4 million. The dude just signed a contract for 35 million guaranteed. Who do you think he's happier to go work for? It could be that's what happened here. And that's why Tszyu's walking away with his hands in the air like, whatever. I'm a rich man. I'll see you guys later. Because he will be back. Eventually, he's going to go over there. He'll continue to win. I don't know who they're going to take out there to fight him, but he'll make his fights. Hopefully, L puts him on PBC. I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe he ends up with ESPN or yeah, Bob Arum, they'll travel. They travel to Japan. They do everything. So they go to Saudi. So maybe he ends up at ESPN. They can do something. They did Jeff Horn, right? They had Jeff Horn. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't like that I seen that article, man. I don't like that I seen it because I fucking knew it had something to do with probably that contract. And now it does look like Tszyu was in talks with the company that was about to make him the highest paid Australian boxer of all time.
Damn. At the end of the day, well, I mean, we say it all the time, and it's so cliche to say it, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to the money, right? And no knock on him, but I mean, like, he's gonna do what he's gonna do to get the fucking check, the direct deposit check clear in his fucking bank, right? So no hate on that.
And Miguel, and it's not a knock on him because if he keeps those titles, L has to either listen to him or leave the titles, and we know he's not leaving the titles. So as long as he would have won, everything's going his way. He would have been like, no, I'm signing with them. You guys can either follow the belts and me, or you could stay here. And they would have been like, no, we need to follow you, because they would have been like Oscar and Bernard to Ryan. We need this motherfucker to lose. They would have been saying, oh, yeah, you're so cool, dude. But behind closed doors, who can we get to beat this guy? We need those titles back.
Yeah. No. I mean, we kind of sort of saw it. And I mean, again, this is just our tinfoil hats. But we saw it with fucking Ugas taking the strap off of Pacquiao just so he can hand it over to Spence. You know what I'm saying? That we've seen it, but it's not like it's something that is out of the fucking question. Somehow PBC and Al needed to get the belt off of fucking Manny, so we don't see Manny and Spence. They did it with Ugas. Ugas was a middleman. He was a transitional champion. They somehow got the belt off of him, and ends up giving it to fucking Spence. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility because we've seen this stuff before. Again, we've been fans for a long time, so we can kind of see some of this stuff happening ahead of time. So I would not be surprised if that's precisely what you said. Because I mean, how else? It's Tszyu doesn't give two fucks about those bills. You know what I'm saying? At this point, it's like that check already cleared, that direct deposit already cleared. It's like, hey, who gives a rat's ass? I'll fight. So I mean, I don't even know because
Andy went back a bigger hero. That fight made him like legendary, bro. Like the way he's fighting a 6'5" guy, he's bleeding his fucking ass off. He did good the whole fight. It wasn't like he got his butt handed to him, right? This is exciting. So he almost went back even with the bigger legend, and now he has a story to rebuild and come get his belts back. I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty good for Tszyu here in the future if he just keeps winning. That's all he has to do.
And not get cut. And get what do we think? We haven't heard anything about Tszyu and his corner because we know that every time something happens, and it happens all the time, and it happened recently with what's his name, Spence, when they suffer their first defeat. They go to a new trainer. It happened, I think, even with Wilder as well. It's just like that's kind of the thing now. They suffer the first defeat, and then he goes off. I think Andy Ruiz, I think, did it as well. It happens, right? Fuck Triple G probably too, and as soon as they lose, they end up leaving the trainer that brought them to the dance, so to speak. Is that like and if anybody has a good reason to do that, it's fucking Tszyu. Get a new damn cut, man. Get a new fucking corner. His uncle, what's his name? Gorky or Gory, or I forgot his fucking name, but his uncle. He's gonna. We haven't heard anything from them saying like, because as soon as something like that happens, we see it, in the tabloids or I guess the media. We see it in the articles. A certain fighter leaves, a certain fighter or whatever the fuck, and I mean, leaves his team, leaves his trainer, goes off somebody new after their defeat. If anybody has a reason to do it, I think it's Tszyu, definitely in this particular instance here, because they failed him so bad, and we talked about it, to death last week. But they failed him in so many ways, and
it wasn't it wasn't even us. It was universal. I mean, if you really went to the internet, there was a lot of people calling for Tszyu to let go of the cut man and most likely his trainer, because I want to say they costed him millions, but they probably didn't. He's probably still going to make these, especially because the platform he's on right now, they ain't generating millions. So it still hurt his legacy. And maybe that's what's going to save these guys' jobs, is that he's still going to go home, sign that contract, make big money. They all learned a lesson, right? They're probably going to beg him, I swear. Hey, did you see what Stitch Duran came out and said about this?
No, I did see that he has something to say, but I didn't see what exactly he said about it.
All right, so he's saying that there's a vein that goes right there, and that believes, he believes they ruptured that, and that there was nothing that was gonna. It's weird because he says at first there's nothing that's gonna stop it. Then, like 2 seconds later, he's like, it was really sad to see the techniques they were using were not the right techniques to stop it. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Can you stop it or can you not stop it? But he does say the fight should have been stopped before the conclusion of the fourth round. He said that. I mean, so here the man, whoever was this cut guy, doesn't know about the forehead and what veins are going through what. And if you pop this, you're not stopping shit. And we need to stop this fight. There was also talks about him getting lightheaded because he lost so much blood that they fucked him on that. I didn't even think about that part.
Well, I think somebody asked him about it, like whether or not he felt it, and he didn't really answer the question, because I want to say someone did mention that during the press conference, or asked him about it, if he felt any differently, because I think it was the same guy who asked him the question about his cut man. But Tim didn't really answer it like to say a straight yes or no. At least I don't remember. I remember him saying something like, man, I'm a warrior, you know, like I'm gonna fucking fight to this kind of thing, right? And he went on that direction. So he kind of sort of answered it, but not really. He did like the political answer. He said a lot of nothing without saying much. But it seemed as though like he didn't really want to say it. But dude, imagine like just imagine or remember how you feel when you go to donate blood. That's basically what the fuck you're doing. You're donating blood, and Joe Rogan has made this comparison as well. It's like, think about it. You go donate blood, you feel a little lightheaded, you feel tired, and that's that small amount, you know, a couple of tubes. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine that shit gushing all over the goddamn place? So yeah, I can imagine that by the end, he had to have been feeling some sort of, you know, and not just, but yeah, exactly. Lightheadedness, maybe even just like having a headache in general, in addition to all the punches that he was getting hit by. Slight like side story here, like you know how like pro wrestlers they cut themselves open regularly, right? Like they do that. Their little tricks is that they have a little razor blade. Sometimes they have it like in their mouth. Sometimes they have it in their fucking like tape. And whenever they get hit, they're like, oh, and they scratch themselves open with the fucking razor blade, and boom, right, they're bloody. So it's happened before where some of these wrestlers accidentally hit that fucking vein, and that shit is a gusher, dude. And they're just like, holy fuck, I can't stop it. It's just for show, and they cut themselves in the wrong spot, and that shit fucking bleeds to death, man. So that cut, I mean, even Tszyu himself talked about it, how it when he like bends over, that stuff is like a fountain. It's like gushing out, you know. So it was pretty obvious that there was no way I think there was no way they were going to stop that cut, regardless. Especially knowing what Stitch Terrance said, that it's in that particular area, that particular vein. I think there probably wasn't a way, because I mean, we talked about it as well. As soon as he steps out of the corner, before the fucking round even starts, it's already dripping, you know. So it's like, maybe
there would have been through the Vaseline, bro.
Yeah, maybe there could have been a way to stop it with other ointments, but it was bad. You know, they should have definitely stopped it. But again, we can go back to what we know about boxing. Maybe, you know, probably his legacy is still intact, right? That fucking payday, I'm sure, is going to make those stitching in his fucking forehead feel a lot sweeter. So, you know, maybe at the end of the day, that's not the case. But again,
his trainer and the commissioner failed him. His trainer, the cut man, or his corner and the commission, because they're supposed to be neutral. The corner isn't supposed to be worried about PBC, Al Heyman, or none of that. They're there to protect the fighters that are participating. And then the trainer, man, come on, that's your guy. You don't eat unless this man eats, you know? So you think I tell any fucking promoter to fuck off if it means my guy's health. You understand? So if I'm Tszyu, I'm looking at that mental process of why his uncle didn't stop the fight. If his uncle gives him an answer like, what do you think L would say? You're gone. You're gone.
Yeah.
Now you're not my guy. You're a PBC, you're Al Heyman's guy. And so then I would think about releasing him, because I know Tzew's upset. I think we all seen it in his face, man. Especially when he said the no comment. I think that was a very big statement there about how he felt about his team at that moment. So I would have a sit down try to get into my trainer's head on, even though he's your uncle or not, he's your trainer. So we got to look at him as a trainer right now and see why he made that decision to allow you to carry on with that type of injury. So that it's that fight is turning out to be a disaster for Tszyu, financially and physically. It was not a good night for him. So.
It wasn't a good night for boxing. I mean, yes, it was fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but we're seeing now the aftermath, the poor pay-per-view buys, the decisions, the suspensions on both Fundora and Tszyu could potentially lead to a WBO vacant title that we may have, Crawford and Spence go at it again for that belt on that end, right? And then now we're, Fundora's people saying like, yeah, we're just going to move forward, fuck a rematch kind of thing. We're probably not going to get that. Tszyu and his corner people, who the hell knows, they're probably going to get, talking to, and maybe they'll have a shorter check, a smaller check next time. But it seemed like it was a disaster all around. And it's almost like the more and more that time goes by, the more we find out, stuff about that particular night, the more it looks bad. You know what I'm saying? The more is the good, bad stuff that continues to pop out. And there was a point that I wanted to make earlier that you had talked about. But yeah. So we talked about this last week, right? I was thinking this is, again, I'm always going to put, because I don't know for sure, but I'm always going to put that damn aluminum foil hat on. Al Heyman on the phone saying, doctors, you better not stop that fucking fight, right? Saying, hey, make sure that this is my first pay-per-view on Prime. My fucking main event is not going to end on a no contest. Maybe that conversation happened, maybe it didn't, or maybe what you said earlier about making sure those belts come off of Tszyu. You know, like, hey, don't stop this fight, and so it ends in a no contest. Let it go. I need to get those belts off of Tszyu and get them on Fundora, and then Tszyu can go do his fucking thing. Maybe there's that, right? Because it's like they needed to get the belts off of fucking. If Tszyu is already, you know, in not negotiations, but at least open dialogue with another TV or another streaming service or another network, etc., whatever the hell the case is. Clearly, we don't want him leaving with the damn belts, right?
What are we gonna? We're gonna have PBC Amazon at 11 a.m. in the morning because they're trying to fix the time frame for Australia. I don't know what their time frame is, but we know it's not ours, right?
No,
so
it's like a day ahead.
Exactly.
Of us.
Yeah. So, bro, there's like so we'd be watching it on Friday, right? Al Heyman was probably like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not having one of my champions fighting on Friday. This is not Top Rank. They were just making fun of Top Rank for doing that, right? Remember when Tank was calling them Takeover Thursday?
Yeah.
Takeover Thursday.
Yeah, right. One. For Stevenson or whatever that was, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, it was, they did it, but we know, you know, it was because there was another event going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Saturday. I think there was Formula One that particular weekend. So obviously they weren't going to try to match with that. So it wasn't like they did it voluntarily. It was because they kind of had to, frankly, you know. But
they've done it. They've done it for Inoue. They've done it for Tyson Fury.
That's right. And you know what? They did it for Valdez recently, right? Wasn't the Valdez fight on the Friday as well? Valdez and,
yes.
Right?
Last
recently.
week.
And Liam Wilson, right? That was also on a Friday. But what was there was anything last weekend, right? Because I'm trying to think if there was a reason why they put Valdez and Liam Wilson on a Friday. Because there's a UFC card.
The Tszyu fight.
Oh, is it the Tszyu fight? Oh,
the Tszyu fight was on Saturday.
Damn, that's true. Yeah, we're just talking about those. My days are all fucked up. I wish I have a calendar, and I tell myself at the beginning of every year I'm gonna write down the fights coming up, and I fucking forget. We're in damn, you know, early April, and I still don't have a calendar with that shit. Fuck, I need to start doing that because I forget the damn cards. There's so many of them. But you're right, dude. Hell yeah, like. That's some whack shit that, you know, that they moved it for because of Tszyu, which, I mean, I guess it was a bigger event, I suppose, right? There was a grand arrival for that, so I guess there was a bigger deal for that. But damn, yeah, that's Top Rank does that pretty regularly. They do the Tuesday mornings for Inoue. I don't think PBC and Al Heyman would have been cool with that. No, they had to get the belts. That's the direction I'm thinking. These are just
that's the direction it's starting to look, especially because Tszyu isn't saying anything, man. And it's not like they fixed it. People were not trying to say that the fucking cut was there already. This is stuff that decisions are made on the fly sometimes because we know all it is a text message, a phone call, and you'll get balls moving, right? So the call goes into the commissioner. Look, it's pretty high on the head. Not looking like it's going to blind him anytime, you let the blood go, right? If the corner ain't stopping it, we're not stopping it. And it was up to the fucking corner to do their job. Yes, Al would have been mad at you. Yes, he would have. But you know what? You don't work for Al. That's all you got to say. Good on with your life.
Doesn't Al sign the check? I mean,
he does, but no. He signs Tszyu's check.
Tszyu
signs your check.
But by proxy, you know what I'm saying? It's like it has to go through that. It has to go through Tszyu.
The trainer still works for Tszyu. The trainer works for Tszyu. You got to protect that money, bro. Look, I know his life is going to go on, but damn, it's so much sweeter when you're undefeated. It's so much better when you're undefeated. Sure. And he's not undefeated anymore.
But undefeated with an asterisk. No?
Oh, definitely.
Because, like, it wasn't like he got his ass handed to him. It wasn't Chavez, Frankie Randall type of, you know, it wasn't like, oh, my gosh, holy fuck, he got his ass handed to him. It wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even dropped. But there has to be something to say, because I know that's one of the things that does bother me about the boxing culture and us as boxing fans is that when a guy loses, it's like it's not the same. We understand why a zero on the other side looks pretty as fuck, and it's like it's almost bragging rights. And I would love to have that fight, to have them run it back, just so if Tszyu gets that loss back, he can say, what Lennox Lewis says, that I beat everybody that I've gotten the ring with. Even the dudes who beat me, I came back and I whooped their ass. So, to some degree, still undefeated, even though the record shows losses. But it's a loss, but it's kind of with an asterisk, no?
It's definitely with an asterisk, yes, but it's still there. And you're going to have to say it every time to the casual. Look, One thing about boxing is the price of these seats is the reasons why these guys can't take losses. They're not spending, unless you're freaking a legend, these guys aren't spending 20 grand to watch 4 losses versus 7 losses. And then we're supposed to say these are 2 of the best fighters in the world. They're not. They have freaking, 12 losses between them. They're not the best fighters in the world, right? Or 11, excuse me. They're not the best fighters in the world. There's 11 guys that have said no to that. And that's why these dudes need to stay undefeated. They need to have all the pretty belts and have those zeros everywhere and a big knockout ratio. And that's when us guys go, yeah, I'll spend $5 grand to watch this fight. This is fucking huge, man. Right? So he doesn't. He has that, but there's still that, we got to say it every time. Oh, yeah, but it's not really a loss.
Can you imagine the announcer is like 21-1, but it wasn't really a loss though. It was a cut, and it was. I can imagine him going into like this fucking I don't know, like Kevin Hart skit, and it's like, let me explain. Let me tell you what happened. In the middle of the ring, still announcing the fucking fight, but like it wasn't really a loss, and it was a cut.
It was a loss for his corner. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. He's still undefeated. His corner took that loss.
Pointing at that dude like the interpreter, man. It's fucking this guy.
Fucking this dude. Exactly. It's like he's 21-1 because of that guy right there. And he continues. Oh,
Tszyu should fucking make fun of him. Maybe wear a shirt with an arrow pointed at his trainer next time. Be like, you gotta stand here. I gotta publicly shame you for what you did to me that night, if you want to keep your job. Be like, this is the asshole that got me my first loss.
Yeah, it's like, this is my cut man. This is like have 2 hands like cut man, and then fucking my trainer. Something like that. Like Australians have good senses of humor. I think they would go for that fucking joke. Because the check cleared regardless, guys. The direct deposit hit anyway. You're gonna get your percentage regardless. But that's damn. It's funny that I haven't heard a single peep from either one of those corners. And particularly, Fundora, I'm sure we'll hear from him soon. But we haven't heard anything from Tszyu. I wonder, maybe it's a family matter, right? I guess it's him and his uncle, so they got to keep that shit under wraps. But I wonder if, like, his dad got involved, and they're like, all having this fucking family argument kind of thing, like. Pretty nuts, huh?
It's got to be pretty awkward, the first family gathering that they have, right? Because they've seen a lot through us, the media. They're like, he needs to fire these guys. I mean, I heard someone ripping them just how we were, they fucking failed them. I can't believe this. Dude was pissed off, like he lost money on the fight. But that's the feeling that it's like, dude, we know better. We've been watching the sport too long to say that was fair what happened to him last week. That was straight bullshit, bro. Listen, I love Diego to death, but it was the same when Tony Weeks was fucking giving him counts for spitting his mouthpiece out, taking him over the corner, putting water in it. Dude's fucking gasping for air on the fucking ground, and he's like, "Hey, you want me to wet your mouthpiece? Get up, stand up, stand up. Here, wet his mouthpiece. Don't talk to him. Just give him some water."
No, and then saying like, "Don't talk to him," but the fucking goose is still like, "You better fucking do something." You better like some. It's like, what, Tony? What is this? Are you guys letting him get away with this? Fuck. Oh man.
So yeah, it sometimes they end, and that was a great fight, but the ending is just like it was never satisfying the way Diego ends that fight.
It taints the victory. And granted, there was a rematch where Castillo whooped his ass, but he was overweight, so it's just like it still wasn't closure to that degree, And I think weren't they supposed to fight a third time? But then I think it was Diego who was overweight or something like that time.
By weight, and it was it was like nowhere even close. They just canceled the shit. I remember I went home. I was at that fight. They They ended up going with Vic Darchinyan, I believe, as the main event. Showtime did.
Oh, I see.
But I just went. I was like, no, I'm not. I didn't want to stay out there.
You were at the arena?
Yeah, I was there. I was in Vegas for that one.
Shit. And,
yeah.
And you went home with it? I mean, you're already there. You might as well just watch it. I mean, granted, it's not the main event you want to see, but you're already in the arena.
No, I went home. I took a red eye. I took a red eye back home.
Oh, you flew home. Damn, I thought you went back to like your hotel room and called it a night or something. Like,
no, I flew home.
Booked it. Damn, yo, that's hardcore. That's hardcore. You're just like, no, fuck this. Like you were like on your phone, like, no, I'm buying a ticket right now, man. I'm buying a ticket.
Going home.
Yeah, like you fucking Expedia, give me a damn ticket out of here, this damn arena, because I'm not here to waste this money. But yeah, that's some crazy shit, yo. That's so many things came out of that, so many negative things. It was supposed to be, you know, one of the most positive things of like the year, hearing things about like Amazon, you know, taking over, and now we have fights on Amazon Prime and everything. And I still don't think they should have gone to a pay-per-view model so quickly. You know, granted, it was supposed to be Thurman, but even that is not a pay-per-view fight. They should have done regular fights on, like, I would have looked at this, would have been a great card on just regular Amazon Prime, like not a pay-per-view. You know, like, no, don't do that shit on pay-per-view. Do it on regular Prime Amazon, whatever the fuck it's called, video, and you know, have it not be a pay-per-view. I would be down for that. You know, like, that's not a big deal. Yeah. But have it leave the pay-per-view for like your bigger stars. You know, if you want to bring Gervonta Davis against another major star, cool. That's pay-per-view stuff. Because is his fight? I don't know if they've already announced it. Is his fight with Frank Martin on pay-per-view? Is that pay-per-view?
Yeah,
damn it.
It's got the David Benavidez undercard. So they're really going off of. Remember, he's fighting that guy that beat Adonis Stevenson like 6 years ago or some shit. We're going back to that guy. It's just like, did you see how Top Rank, Barthélemy is fighting, and then who's the other guy? Oh, Delome.
Oh yeah, he's fighting.
Dude, like, it's like, dude, it was like fucking Bob went, hold on, I got two guys. These guys are good years ago. Hold on. Like, here's their card. Call these fucking guys. What the? Where do they get those two from, bro? That's so like fucking 8 years ago. Delome and Barthélemy. I was like, really? That's who you got to face fucking Ramirez and who is it? It's Virgil Ortiz, bro.
Yeah. It's Virgil Ortiz's debut at 154, and then, you know, wasn't they making a comeback at 140 if I'm not mistaken? Ramirez
fighting a prospect that never did shit at any of the lower divisions.
Yeah.
Because he's probably fighting Derlome is what I'm guessing. He's the bigger, right? Barthélemy is.
Yeah, he's the 140 pounder. Yeah, because he's fought. Who has he fought? He's fought a couple of names.
PBC guys, I want to say.
I'm almost certain it was PBC because I get them mixed up. He has a brother who I think fights as well, but this is the one that he's the one that actually made it somewhere. But I think this is the only one that he actually. But I want to say I'm fairly certain that I've actually seen him fight live a few times because, you know, here in Vegas, I forget his name. That trainer is Ismael Salas. Right? He's of Cuban. He is Cuban. I was gonna say of Cuban descent, but no, he's actually like 100% Cuban. And they always have, you know, Ugas is always here, and fucking, you know, Laura's always here and stuff here in Vegas and town and stuff like that. So I don't know if they live here per se, but I know Salas he's got a gym around here, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, I've seen, you know, Barthélemy a few times at fights, and anytime Salas is in the corner of somebody else. So they're kind of here, and I'm almost certain I've seen him fight before. At the time, I think he was still at 135. So now he's at 140, of course, if that's the fight, if I remember correctly, with Ramirez, because I think Ramirez is going to stay at 140 so for this fight. So yeah, it's him, and yeah, I think he was like, I wish I could remember who the hell he fought, but it was like a title eliminator that he ended up losing, something along those lines. And so he's going to fight Ramirez, and then we're going to have Dorlome. Yeah. He's got Virgil
Thomas Dorlome, I believe is what his first.
I've seen him fight as well. PBC guy, obviously, but yeah. I mean,
and he was Top Rank when he first came out, bro. When he first comes out, he's with Top Rank.
Okay.
And he doesn't turn into nothing. You know, I forget who he lost to, but he's not. He just doesn't. He never graduates out of the prospect level. And then he goes PBC, doesn't do anything there. I thought was gone, and now all of a sudden he shows up years later on a fucking ESPN card, and I was just like, dude, where are we at? We got fucking whatchamacallit, David Benavidez fighting some champion of 6 years ago, and then you got Top Rank announcing these two guys, and I was just like, man.
Well, at least the Top Rank card is going to be on ESPN.
Free.
ESPN
Yes.
Plus, not no fucking pay-per-view. Because, I mean, can you imagine, like, put yourself in David Benavidez's shoes. You go from main eventing 2 pay-per-views to being the co-main event, to on Prime. Like, yeah. I guess they agreed to it, right? I guess. I mean, he wouldn't have been there otherwise. It's going to be his debut at 175.
And bro, his fucking pay-per-view numbers were under 70K. Both fights, man. So no, he's not a pay-per-view draw. They're hoping to beef these numbers up with. They're hoping together they can both walk away and go, oh look, we have 2 stars. That's what PBC is trying to do here. So when they go to negotiate with Canelo, with David again, they can go, oh, we did this, and then with Tank versus anyone, they're going to put those numbers on them too. When in reality, it took both of them to generate whatever the hell they're going to generate in a few weeks here. Yeah. Or what is that, month maybe from now?
About a month from now, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I would say it does. Maybe it clears 100, but it will not do 250. No way.
Really? Not even that? Not even? Because, I mean, like, I understand, Tank's fight with Ryan, it was Tank and Ryan, and they did over $1 million. But the fact that he's coming off of that, because, I mean, please refresh my memory, Tank hasn't fought since that fight with Ryan, right? So this is basically like he went to jail or prison or whatever the fuck it was for however much long, and then he came out, and now this is his comeback. You don't think it'll get to the 500-600 range, like on him on his own, like him and Frank Martin?
No, unfortunately, I think David Benavidez's fan base is the Tank fan base. I don't think David Benavidez's 60,000 pay-per-view buys was strictly Mexicans that have never bought in any of the PBC pay-per-views. I don't think he's tapped into that market as much as they give him credit for. I think he's more of an Mexican-American fan base that's already tapped into the PBC guys. We already know who the PBC is. So I don't see him bringing that much, and Tank was not the reason that fight did that good. I unfortunately, I think it was.
Reason. No, I mean,
I think it was more. No. Yes, he's a good dance partner, but I don't see him as being the main reason. I think it was Ryan's smile, his success. I think it's Golden Boy. I think Oscar knows how to promote fights very good to get these pay-per-views out there. Obviously, Oscar's had way more success in the pay-per-view department than Al Heyman has. Al Heyman has Floyd Mayweather. Unfortunately, Floyd and Al were tied to Oscar for all of those numbers that they brag about. Those are all under Golden Boy's banner, basically. Floyd never fought for the PBC. There was never just, or maybe the Berto fight or some shit like that.
Yeah, some of the last ones, right?
His Cotto fight, his Mosley fight, all the fights that he did, great number. Canelo, De La Hoya, these are all under Golden Boy's banner. So, yeah, Al Heyman might be a part of it in the back, behind the scenes somewhere. But the banner says Golden Boy Promotions. The face is Oscar De La Hoya at this time, who's out there promoting this shit. So Oscar's done way better than L in promoting on pay-per-view. I don't see this fight doing that good, bro. And seriously, their fans did not show up for this. The Pitbull and Isaac Cruz. We all thought was going to be, this is the main event. This is that. This is that. Maybe the Mexicans just don't like the PBC. But come on, bro. Mexicans used to do 100,000 buys back in the 90s like it was nothing. They used to say, if you could get 2 good Mexicans, Texas and fucking California could make your pay-per-view. Seriously, they didn't even need anyone else. Just those 2 buys could make a fight successful. We don't have that anymore. I've been saying that for a while about Southern California. I just don't see the love out there anymore for Mexican fighters, man. There used to be sold out arenas on a fucking Tuesday night, on a Thursday night. Like Telemundo would have fights on. The crowd looked packed in the background. You know, it'd be at the what's the warm? Is it the what was the one the famous auditorium out there that all the little fights used to take place?
The Forum, the Great Western Forum. Was it the Great Western Forum or no?
Forum, yeah.
The Forum. Yeah, it's called.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Oh, my bad. The Great Western Forum. They had it there.
There you go.
I think they changed it to the Kia Forum now, or some shit. They I always changing the names the way they changed fucking Staples Center, but I want to say it's called the Kia Forum now. But yeah, the Great Western Forum for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so it just doesn't seem like it does those numbers anymore. And I think Isaac Cruz and I think David Benavidez have proven that Mexicans and Mexican Americans, I don't know how you want to say it, are not buying PBC fights.
But could it be? I mean, well, I guess okay. That's one theory. Could it be that we're just fed up with shit? You know what I'm saying? Because like we waited for Spence and Crawford for so damn long that to the point where like it finally happened and it bombed at the fucking pay-per-view. So it's like, could it be that's just like we're fed up? Maybe it's a PBC. It's a PBC thing. I don't know.
When I was young, my house. It's very unlikely my mother would have bought. My mom bought pay-per-views, bro. My mom bought HBO. We are boxing fans. The whole family was, right? Grandpa started this shit. His kids kind of carried on with it, and then they went to us grandkids, so on, so on. She didn't buy Roy Jones versus James Toney, right? Mm. But she probably bought Carbajal versus Chiquita Gonzalez. Mm. It's just, it is what it is, right? Yeah. All Chavez fights were purchased. Probably never purchased the Evander Holyfield fight, and that's not being racist. We don't have money just to throw out everywhere. Sure. So we're picking the fights of our guys, right? These are my mom's Mexican. Her name's Hernandez. She likes Mexican fighters. That's what we're investing our money in. So we would purchase them, right? Isaac Cruz had a great fight, Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero fucking made fun of him, made fun of his culture, fucking brought out the little Chihuahua, like got all racist about it, right? Whenever you do that on the flip side, though, it would have been fucking canceled as fight, right?
Yeah, right.
Come on. But whenever they do it to Latin people or Mexicans in general, it ain't shit. Yeah. So we had everything that made that fight big. I mean, Isaac Cruz, I thought was a hot star, and I still think he is. I really do. I don't know why the numbers are so low for him, because those numbers are pathetic. 20,000 pay-per-view buys in a sport where our people, we thrive in this sport. We like boxing. It's fucking crazy that more people didn't buy that fight. Rolly Romero's a champ. He's undefeated, right? I think Rolly was undefeated.
No. He had already lost to Tank at the time. So.
Oh yeah, he already got.
He already lost. But he had a belt regardless.
He had a belt. Yeah.
140. Got the belt somehow, right?
Yes, there was a storyline there where you thought the diehard Mexican fans were barbecuing, were watching this shit, right? Even Fundura's half Mexican. I know he's not full, but he's got ties, right? So there was something there, and it just didn't work. And dude, David Benavidez, I thought, is the hottest Mexican American fighter. He's the Mexican monster. He's got Tyson talking about him. They've ran him on pay-per-view twice, bro, and it hasn't done shit. And then look at Canelo. Like, there's something. Maybe
is it more than that? Is it the economy at the same time? The pay-per-views are fucking $80. Like, could they have at least maybe cut us a break and been like, all right, $50 pay-per-view, whatever the fuck it is, like knowing where we are as far as like a country goes, economically speaking, would it have been a much smarter idea for PBC or frankly any pay-per-view market, as far as like boxing goes? Are they willing to just like, all right, we'll eat a couple of $20 or whatever and make the fight $50 or $60, something like that? Because it was like $80, right, for fucking this pay-per-view. That's, I mean, damn it, for a card like that, I would not have paid no goddamn $80. I don't remember how much the David Benavidez' pay-per-views were, because I didn't even go that far to watch them another way. But nonetheless, like, could that have something to do with it?
Yes and no, because bro, I honestly in the 90s, I think $60 and $40 pay-per-views used to be a lot of money to our parents back then. It wasn't $25 in 1990. You're paying almost $60, 59.99 probably for Tyson and for Lennox Lewis and Julio Cesar Chavez and these guys. Maybe 39.99 I could say is the cheapest that I've seen it when I was younger, but it was nothing under that. These things have always been expensive on top of your HBO subscription that your family was already paying for. I used to brag a lot to people. I would say I was watching a dumb sport. I would say boxing's a rich man's sport. So I understand why you can't see it. And people get mad. But I ain't lying. But I'm not lying. You had to have fucking Tuesday Night Fights is on USA. That's cable premium network. You got to have Showtime. You got to have HBO. Cinemax at one time was in boxing. And then you got to, yeah,
Cinemax. Damn, I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah, Cinemax used to have boxing too. And then you had pay-per-views. So it's a rich man's sport. I get why you tell me the ref is a fix and that's why I don't watch it. It's a fix. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've always had that title of being a rich man's sport, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't think that changes. Look, they had a fighter. No,
because I mean, not to cut you off, but like it depends on the market, does it not? Like I can't go out there and say, let's say David Benavidez goes out there and says like, all right, boom, $75 ticket, or $75 pay-per-view, all right, and nobody buys it. So what they're saying that you're not worth $75. So is it really still that if no one's buying it?
I think it's the PBC platform that the Mexican people haven't bought into. Look at Julio Cesar Martinez. Is that his name? Was on the undercard of that fight.
Yeah.
That is one of the most exciting little fighters in the sport. He's been that guy for a while. Yeah. Why isn't he bigger? You look at someone like Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas was a badass WBC title, multiple title defenses. Why isn't he bigger? I bet you if these dudes fought on ESPN, they'd be pretty big in the Mexican community. I just think Bob knows how to tap in a little bit better. I think his history with maybe the Mexican fight fans going, hey, no, if he's on Top Rank, bro, they're good fighters. These guys are legit, right? They might have that going for them. And then you got De La Hoya. I'm telling you right now, if Devin Haney and fucking Ryan is a success, what if it's more successful than Tank and Frank? We know that,
dude. It's gonna be. I mean, come on.
Well, then it's Oscar.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot more sense because we know. I mean, we can almost already see it. That I was thinking. I mean, when you put it that way, that definitely is a different perspective. Because I was thinking, all right, Ryan and Gervonta did 1.4 or whatever the fuck, 1.2, right? So I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm gonna give credit equally to both of these dudes on their own. Because Tank has done pay-per-view numbers before. Right offhand, I don't remember what his pay-per-view numbers were before, but I thought he was gonna, after beating Ryan, he's got some, even more credibility, and he's gonna have a decent pay-per-view number even with Frank Martin. But I mean, compared to Ryan and fucking Devin, we know who Ryan and Devin are. People know Tank. Nobody knows fucking Martin. So that in and of itself shows that Ryan and Devin are going to do much more, exponentially more pay-per-view buys than these motherfuckers. I mean, that's kind of a dead end. But anyway, I didn't want to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I believe it's Al Heyman has never tapped in. I've given some good Isaac Cruz, Ray Vargas, and Julio Cesar Martinez. These guys would have had no problems being headliners if they were on other platforms. As for some, and I got to go back to Canelo Charlo, dude. That fight bombs on them. Like, come on, that's fucking Saul Alvarez. You can't sell Saul? What's going on? There's got to be something going on with the PBC and it's not nothing. I'm not saying no hidden secrets. It's just a simple fact that the Mexicans here in America, the fight fans, never bought into the PBC platform. They just didn't. None of their Mexican fighters have thrived at all. None of them are headliners. None of them do fucking huge numbers on pay-per-view. They don't have we could take him to LA and sell 20,000 tickets every time. We could take him to Texas and do 40,000 tickets. They don't have none of that. Yet Ray Vargas was what, like 30-0 Cesar Martinez might not be undefeated, but was like one of the most exciting fighters to watch. That dude is always in a slugfest and wins. And then you have Isaac Cruz. You know, that I thought he was on top of the world going into this fight. He's got a name. Well, dude, 20,000 pay-per-view buys. Your name ain't that big. Sorry, it's not that big. I don't even know if he made a check off of it's gonna be fucking crazy.
I mean, he had to have. I mean, I don't know how, but he had to have. I mean, come on.
No, you're right, dude. They had to have gone off of the live gate. We're not putting that in. You know, maybe they made $5 million or $3 million just on the live gate. Then they can start paying some guys at least something, right? Yeah. But that pay-per-view number is gone. If that's really legit, dude, Prime is taking 40% of that. Could you see them working for anything less than 30? Why would they be in the game? You're getting they're getting their audience.
Yeah.
Al Heyman didn't go, hey, if you sign us, you're gonna get 1 million houses.
Yeah.
Those guys just say the fuck out of here. We already own 100 million. You're getting our customers. They had to give them something big.
Damn. I'm sure they had to give them something substantial, but they had to be. Could they be banking on the pay-per-views that much? Because I mean, like, Heyman has been with fucking Floyd for a long time, right? Like, enough to know, I would assume, how to tap into that market. I mean, fuck, when Floyd comes out wearing red, green, white, and red, for fuck's sake, it's like you kind of get the impression that they kind of know how to tap into that market. Floyd having May and September prior to, Canelo, it's like you would think that, being with Floyd, connected with Floyd, Al would know exactly how to tap into that market to be able to say, okay, let's do XYZ, let's make, Pitbull a star, yada, yada. But, I mean, where did they go wrong? Why? And I guess if the Mexican market is so against PBC, what happened? Like, how the hell did they fuck him over, or what the hell? Like, I don't know what when they were on board, because Floyd, I mean, not PBC, but when I say Floyd, I'm talking about Floyd, Al Heyman, their connection.
Unfortunately, I want to say the fight that you're talking about, he's fighting a golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Yes.
So that's where he's getting the audience that gets mad at him to do that. Now, if that fight was against Madonna, who knows who sees it, right? Maybe it gets seen by the Mexican community, and maybe it doesn't. And they all go, I don't give a fuck. That dude does nothing but run anyways. Hey, fuck that guy. Yeah. Right? Because I used to hear that a lot, too, in the community about Floyd.
I still hear it, yeah.
Yeah. So no, where I think they went wrong is it was never there. It was never theirs. They stole fighters from Oscar. They stole fighters from HBO.
Yeah, Leonard would be flat out admitted it. So yeah.
Yeah, that was it was a shit show what happened, and I don't think anyone ever got on board. And it's not even what I think. Look at the numbers. They have had way too good of fighters, Mexican fighters, to not do bigger numbers on pay-per-view. This one is really stands out because Julio Cesar Martinez is well known in the boxing community, the WBC. He's been fighting for them for a long time, so all the Mexicans know him. And Isaac Cruz, man, was like on top of the world. The knockout of who's the Cuban he knocked out? Gamboa. Yeah, Gamboa, and then the other knockout that they were playing forever when he knocked out one of the brothers.
Magdalenos, yeah. Oh, that shit hurt me. Those are local guys. I saw that, dude. I was like, oh, because Jesse and Diego, they're from here, or at least I don't know if they're originally from here, but they train here. And I've seen them a few times. Shit, when I saw him get slaughtered, I was like, ouch, that shit hurt. Fuck.
Yeah, so he had big knockouts. He was just known, and then this fight had so much what we thought was good publicity. We thought what they were getting, like this thing was making waves. Him and Raleigh. Raleigh was like a show on Instagram. He was going viral with all of his little stunts. 20,000, 50,000 buys. Bro, they're talking 2.4 million. HBO used to give a guarantee to like 5 million.
Yeah.
Right? We lost money here. Like, and I say we, but the sport of boxing.
Yeah,
The sport of boxing has lost money. We don't understand how bad we shot ourselves in the foot by not going back to the table. And I hope HBO will eventually make their way back, because unfortunately they haven't done too good without us either. I haven't really seen HBO with any blockbuster miniseries where it's like, oh yeah, see, that's why they got another Game of Thrones going on over there. They got another Sopranos over there. I haven't seen any shows. They try to bring the Sopranos back, and then the guy dies.
That's right. Yeah.
Leotta dies in real life, and he was holding two of the characters. He was like a twin on the show or some shit. Really? So they lost both of those guys with him out. And then who was he? They had another show, the House of Dragons. It's not Game of Thrones. Now they got the new one coming out with the North. What's the guy? The Jon Snow? Is that his name? Snow? The guy from Game of Thrones. They're gonna do another. I don't watch Game of Thrones. All right. Well, they're gonna do another. The reason
I had HBO was boxing. FYI.
They're gonna do another spin-off on Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And so we'll see how that one does. But all I'm saying is, since they made that decision to move away from the sport, they haven't been thriving on their miniseries either. You don't really hear anyone of being like, what the impact of those shows had. House of Dragons is not that, and fucking the Sopranos spinoff, I don't even think they're gonna bring it back, because fucking Leotta died in real life. So I don't even know if they can bring that one back. So yeah, man, I'm hoping boxing goes, hey, you see how broke these guys are? But can't even make $1 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, not good, Miguel. Not a good Sunday for us. It was a workman-like Sunday. It was a workman-like podcast.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I mean, we try to bring you as much content as we possibly can, but that kind of sort of brings me to what I would say would be like our final kind of like main topic. Is kind of, we're a couple of weeks away from Tank. Jesus Christ. Ryan and Devin. I'm over here thinking about PCRs. I'm telling you, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid today. A few weeks away from Garcia and Devin. You mentioned it earlier. The fight is still on. What do you think? I mean, like, this is going to be on DAZN, right? Or DAZN pay-per-view, I guess. DAZN, whatever. Historically, I don't remember DAZN pay-per-view doing all that well. I don't know which if it was the third Triple G and Canelo fight that was still on DAZN, was it?
Yes.
Maybe
yeah, the third one.
And the pay-per-views were okay, right? I think it was it 7? Was it? I don't remember what it was, but I think it was 7. So anyway, we're gonna get another DAZN pay-per-view. What do you think? What are we looking at? What, like, as far as like maybe a little bit of a prediction of how many pay-per-view buys do you think we're gonna get out of Haney and Garcia?
Well, unfortunately, because I think everyone's waiting for this train crash, I think it's gonna do over $1 million again, bro. I really do. I think Ryan Garcia has that fan base, and Devin has made enough noise in the boxing world that I think a lot of the diehard boxing fans are gonna purchase this thing from home. I just see it being successful. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with Ryan's mental health, which is sad that, he's pissed off enough people where I think they want to watch him more to lose than to see him win. But then he has his, he's doing 200 something hits, it seems like, on everything that he's putting out. He gets a lot of traffic. So he has a fan base still. And with the age group that he's in, they all love playing the victim card, so they're probably leaning on him a little bit more now, to hope that he does good.
Okay.
So I see them showing up. I think it'll be successful. Yes,
I pulled it up as far as like Canelo and Triple G globally they did 1.6 according to this DAZN article that I just happened to found, but it was globally, so it wasn't just the U.S. market. Because that's kind of what I was.
No, he did about 600,000, 500,000 to 600,000 in America for the fight. Yeah.
Because that's kind of the direction I was I was kind of like going, like thinking how much of a, because I mean, we're gonna get. Let me pull up to see. Remember where the fuck. When is Tank and fucking and Martin? Here we go. When is this fight gonna happen? Actually, let's see here. Yeah, it's not pulling it up. Date.
Oh, come on. It's got to be on a date already.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, there is. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So I found it. As of March 1st, they said it was going to be June 15th. Holy fuck. So we got a couple of months. I thought we were going to get
shit.
like.
I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, that's the last I saw. Gervonta Davis was expected on June 15th, and this was at the beginning of March. Unless the date has changed since early March, we're talking about a month ago, I should say. So I was trying to see if there was like if the fights, Tank and Martin were close to one another to that, and Ryan and Devin to kind of like get gauge. I mean, we're going to compare the numbers regardless if PBC even releases numbers for Tank and Frank Martin, but. Yeah, dude, like the zone basically is gonna knock it out of the fucking park with this one. It's gonna be one of those like and it might be just like because the article that I just read was 1.6 for Triple G and Canelo, but globally. So in the US it was like 6 or 7, I think you said. So in the US we're probably gonna get more for Devin and Ryan. This maybe even similar to what we got with Tank and Ryan. 1.4 or something like that's going to crack 1 million. That seems pretty plausible. They're gonna blow them out. They're gonna do so good that I think Tim Tszyu is gonna look at that shit and be like, "Oh, how many fucking pay-per-views do they do? Like maybe that's the direction I should be going." And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tim on DAZN at some point in the near future. If that even is who he was talking to, or did you know, or do you know of any?
I thought it was an Australian. I thought it was an Australian TV. Yeah,
gotcha.
that he was looking to get into. But with that kind of money, Al Heyman couldn't match it. 35 million guaranteed. He doesn't have that anymore. So he like you're literally just following him, or you got to get those belts from him.
Sure.
That's all that he had. Yeah, it's the Garcia Haney fight should do good. I hope it does good. We kind of need it, and then we need Haney to win. The Garcia needs to go away after this, man. Kid needs to get his head right. I can't go through this bullshit again. What he did.
We're gonna. If he doesn't go away, if he gets knocked, another fight.
If he gets knocked out, I just don't know how big it'll be next time. Because once again, this generation. The kids that he's involved with, they only like you if you're hot, man. And him getting knocked out twice is not going to make him that hot. Especially the crying, the fucking excuses that he's going to bring. Like, I just see him getting really old and especially if it looks like Tank all over again, where he's just not, he's getting caught by punches he shouldn't be getting caught with. All of a sudden you see him doing this whole shit again where his chin's all exposed. Because to be honest with you, that's what I'm watching for a lot more, that now that they showed me his flaw, and he's still doing it, bro.
Yeah.
The mitt work with his dad the other day. Oh, and you hit it right on the fucking head, Miguel, with the whole he's Chavez Jr. Did you see the guy doing mitt work in a living room, bro?
Yeah, barefoot.
Dude.
That's just funny.
That's what it reminded me of. Junior vibes, bro. Like
the Chavez Jr., like, an episode of 24/7, which I don't remember who it was for. I think it was for Maravilla, I think, when he fought. I don't remember. But, he comes out of his fucking room and eating cereal and, like, fucking his pink boxer briefs, just saying, like, like, what's going on?
Bad head. Yeah,
exactly,
just woke up.
And the 24/7 or whoever the countdown camera guys are just like, are we gonna go to the gym? What's going on? I gotta look like, fucking Freddie Roach. I don't remember the hell he was at the time, but it's just like, that privileged type of shit. It's like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, it's obvious that he's just doing it for the sake of putting some content out there and just like, here you go, my loyal social media fans. Here's a video of me hitting the pads, then in barefoot,
And then the Cobra bag. I'm so over that fucking highlight. Like, Ryan, all right, dude, you made your whole early career on this bag. You got to let, no one cares about this one anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's just that hand. he's literally pulling the hand away every time he throws that hook. And it's like, bro, that's what the fuck Tank said he knocked you out last time with, and you're still haven't gotten that through your head. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I kind of want him to go away. I don't think he deserves the position anymore.
No.
The money that he's making, he hasn't lived up to it. And if he gets abused again in that ring and starts giving me the whole, they don't love me and no one was on my side, and I'm so done with Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
Can we just send him his fucking walking papers? If anything, Eddie Hearn and all of them would just have to come together on behind closed doors and be like, he's out. He's not a good look anyways. We don't need, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to bite his ear off. All this stuff is so fucking childish, man. Then the whole thing that he's doing with the whole kids thing, it was all just a really bad look. And if he looks like he doesn't belong in that ring again, we need hopefully the boxing world just lets him go. Let him fight on BBC.
You're literally echoing what my dad says. Is like, what the fuck has he done to deserve this particular spot that he's in? After this fucking fight. This is what kills me. Besides the culprit bag work, where he fucking closes his eyes every single time he throws a punch, and that when he gets knocked down, when Ryan gets dropped by Tank in that the first time, he throws 3 fucking like lead left hands, back to back to back to back. Like, what the fuck? He throws one, he misses. He throws the second one, he misses, and he does it again. So obviously, what the fuck Tank's gonna do? He's gonna counter. Tank did the same shit with Leo Santa Cruz. The Leo was up against ropes, throws the right. So of course, all Tank can do is like, boom, and it's just like, dude, why you're telegraphing that shit? You're telling him I'm gonna throw this fucking. That's exactly what Ryan did. Threw 3 left hands back to back to back, missed them all. The last one he gets caught and dropped. It's like, stop, please. I don't know I hope Derrick James is like, teaching him something or whatever the hell it is Derrick James is putting in his head out, that it sticks, because it looks like it's going to be like lamb to the slaughter at this point. That's what it appears to be. We'll most likely, because we're 2 weeks away, so next Saturday or next Sunday, we're going to do a prediction show, right? I mean, we kind of already know what the predictions are, but we're going to go a little more in depth as far as like our finals. I'll see what I can find as far as like odds and stuff like that. But I like to do that like a week before the fight to kind of like break it down and see where we're at as far as like odds and where we think the fight is going to end. And maybe by then we'll have more more content or more like dumb shit that Ryan has been saying that we can talk about and make the week a little more entertaining. But I did want to mention one more thing that was kind of like, I don't think we talked about this yet, because we were talking about it right before we got on the show. In regards to last night, and this is kind of like closing, Devin and Ryan. In regards to last night card, seeing David Benavidez drunk as a motherfucker ringside, right? He tweeted this morning basically apologizing, saying like, hey guys, I'm sorry I came on the TV like that, or I came on camera like that, and it'll never happen again, I think he said, right? I mean, maybe it's a little too much. You're a grown ass man, you can fucking drink if you want to drink. But you had your theory, Andrew. What was your theory that what was DAZN doing?
First off, I didn't like that he came out and apologized. There's nothing to apologize for, man. You're not driving.
Sure.
You're at a fight, having a good time. You're an adult, a successful adult, right? Like, the fuck are you apologizing? I'm not your dad. Ain't none of these people your dad. Like, he wasn't even foolish. Like, we could tell he was drunk because he was slurring.
Sure.
But it wasn't like he was up there saying racist things or whistling at women as they walked by. You know what I mean? Like, come on, what are we apologizing for? Stop fucking. Just so weird that they made him do that. Look, DAZN knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. Come on. Mm-hmm. They might not have wanted him to make him look bad, but they were hoping he was going to say something to make it juicy, right? Like, hey, go ask him, anything. Let's see how he responds. Most of the time when people are intoxicated, they'll say things that they won't say when they're not.
Yeah.
It totally seemed like that's what DAZN was doing there. And if they didn't, so be it. I'm still going to say it anyways, because most of the time when they put that microphone in front of an athlete who's had too many drinks, everybody in the fucking building knew he had had too many drinks before then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, David's got to watch out for that. Not everyone's your friend, man. Not everyone, they might, they're trying to set you up. I'm glad he didn't bite. To me, there was no reason for an apology. He did a great interview. He sounded a little bit, you could tell in his voice that he had too many drinks. He was slurring, but that's all I heard. So, it was a miss for DAZN. They thought they were gonna get David.
Yeah, right. Like I can imagine that, like whoever the producer is, like yeah, have I forget his name, Chris Mannix, like Chris, go interview him, and Chris like, what? He's fucking drunk. No, like go interview him. Yeah. So like, all right,
ask him about Canelo's balls.
Yeah. It's like so. Yeah, Diego Pacheco's doing very well. So what was he saying about Canelo's balls? Like,
do you think he's bought in a pair yet, David? Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah, it was good that he didn't go anywhere like that. So
yeah. He might have been drunk, but maybe he wasn't that drunk, because what he was saying about Diego was kind of making sense. So it's just like, all right, clearly he wasn't that fucking drunk. If what he was saying, it's like, yeah, you probably should be in his corner, telling the corner man to do that shit. But yeah, it didn't sound like he was that drunk. He was pretty drunk, but not that though. Anyway, that's pretty funny. But I just wanted to toss that in there before I forgot, because I wasn't gonna throw it in there before we switch over topics. But anyway, nonetheless, that's all I got. That's all the topics that I wanted to talk about. Was there anything else that you happened to have caught on, or that you saw that you wanted to touch on?
Clarissa.
Oh, yeah, the beef, huh?
You seen that one? So I like bringing up Clarissa. She does good for the sport. So it looks like her and Alicia Baumgartner. Is that how you say her name?
I think Baumgartner. Okay. Alicia.
Looks like them two are still trying to get their fight going. 154, I think, is the division they're looking at putting it on. I don't know, man. She looks so much smaller than her.
No, she is, dude. When she beat Michaela Mayer, I'm almost certain that was at 130. I'm almost certain that was at 130. So it's like she's not even a fucking lightweight.
24 fucking pounds, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's like maybe at the heaviest she'll fight at 140 or something like that, but still talking about 47, 54. Like that's like what I understand Clarissa's stance. She was cool with her, as I understand. This is at least her explanation. She was cool with her, and they never talked about fucking fighting. And then all of a sudden, Baumgartner says XYZ about her, and now she's like, "What people are talking about me?" So now there's beef. So, but like
last night she put her hands on her, so there's definitely beef now. Last night,
I mean, but what is going to be accomplished by this? Are we? I mean, is women's boxing in that bad a shape that we're going to have one boxer move up 20 some odd pounds or whatever, and then the other one, because I mean, she's fought at 160 and 168, Clarissa, I'm saying, but I'm sure she can make 154. She might drain herself a little bit, but she can still make 154. I don't see that being a problem. But it's like, really? That's where we're at, huh? That's where we're at. We're gonna meet in the middle somewhere between a champion and one of the heaviest weight classes, and then one of the lightest weight classes. Like, we're gonna see this. If it's not bad enough that we've talked about how bad a shape the sport is, like, we're gonna toss this in addition to it. It's like, oh, we're gonna force this, huh?
Hey, we were talking about Terrance moving up to fucking fight Saul Alvarez, who was competing at 175 at one time. I mean, fucking Terrance was barely fighting at 147. So yeah. It's it just seems like that's where we're at right now. A lot of people want to make the big bucks that boxing used to make, and unfortunately we don't have any platform that's offering that type of money anymore. Not ESPN, not Amazon, not DAZN. They're just not. We definitely took a step backwards doing what we did a few years ago, releasing the HBO from here. so yeah, it fucking sucks right now. We need a Sugar Ray Leonard. We need a Muhammad Ali. We need a Oscar De La Hoya. One of those. How do they say it? One in every era. A generational.
One generation. Yeah.
A generational type fighter. We need one of those guys badly. Not a Roy Jones. Not a Floyd. Seriously, not a Floyd again. I give a fuck. Floyd he hurt our sport way more than he ever did good for it. Yeah. His pay-per-view numbers, those are his numbers. You know what I mean? Sure. He didn't do anything for us, damn it. Where Oscar Oscar did it because he fought fucking everybody in their prime. Like Oscar is making $100 million a year on his opponents that he's facing, not his endorsements. Freaking, and then Ali and Leonard, these guys are just, they took in the whole boxing, American boxing community. They were must watch TV. Even a Mike Tyson was must watch TV.
Yeah.
So we definitely need. I mean, Mike Tyson on Amazon right now. If he did, I believe he did 47 million homes when he fought Buster Mathis Jr. on Fox. It was Fox did it for free.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine what he would do on an Amazon platform that had 100 million homes to go to? So these are the type. We need someone like that. There's going to be a lot of money for the next kid that can be this type of fighter.
Did you hear? I don't know if this is true or still gonna happen, but like I heard that like boxing is gonna be removed from the fucking Olympics, either this next coming one or the one after, like 24 or 28 or something like that, right?
They are threatening that, but they've threatened that before. They've
with
even
wrestling. They tried to with wrestling too, I think.
And they've even taken boxing off and put it back on, shit like that, where they were just using it as like, you guys better straighten your shit up or you're out of here. I think at the end of the day, they need the sport. The sport gets views globally. It's not just, these two countries like it. No, boxing is soccer. Yeah. It's watched all over the world. It's participated in all over the world. I think it stays. I don't think it's going anywhere, but you are right. They were threatening. It was something to do with the fixed. They wanted it, the ABA or whoever was running like the amateur program, I believe, they wanted to straighten that shit out before they allowed them to come back into the Olympic program. I believe, that's all amateur stuff, but they figured that out, and I think we're still in on the 24. I know my guys, it has to be because my guy, I got a best friend whose daughter's still gunning for the team. So
nice.
Definitely boxing still in. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's gonna be our show for this weekend. We managed to get you a couple of hours of content, just talking about the things that are coming up. Next week we'll have I guess the primary topic is going to most likely be this upcoming fight with Ryan and Devin in New York. I think Barclays is where the arena's what arena they're going to have it at. So as always, thank you so much for joining us in this relatively slow boxing week/weekend. We'll be back with a much deeper breakdown of Ryan and Devin. So for Andrew and myself, thank you so much for joining us here, guys. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of the week, and have yourself a good one. Peace. We'll see you next week.